How's it going, yo? My name is Dalton Cross, and welcome to my video. This video is going to be me going over my controller settings for Apex Legends. If you're watching this video, and I know a lot of people have been asking for my settings for a bit all over all of my social medias. So I'm finally going to put this video out, going to send it out to the people who have been wanting them in need, or people who are just curious on improving their aim and settings in general. But if you've never been in my channel, welcome to my channel. I post a lot of Apex content, sometimes Call of Duty content, and usually I just play any new FPS title or whatever whatsoever whenever it comes around. But yeah, that's about it. We're gonna go into certain details of my settings. So I am a controller player for an advanced for anybody who is trying to look at the settings. I'm most likely going to name this video best controller settings, but I do play on PC. I play at a max of 144 frames, and I usually average between that to about 100. Sometimes I drop. Lowest I ever go is like 70, mostly because like a lot of things are happening beginning of the game, but that's about it. I'd play on a SCUF Impact controller, and it has 4 paddles on the back and trigger stoppers, but I don't use my trigger stoppers. But if you happen to have them, they're really good to use. I was using mine until they broke. But the best way to start with my settings is going to show y'all. So for my controller settings, I actually use ALC settings, which is advanced look controls. I don't use any of the look sensitivity or the response curve or look dead zone options, mostly because the ALC controls like look most of that. But for the first kind of looks, we're gonna have small movement dead zone. If you have a lot of drift on your controller, first things first, most likely get your controller fixed. If not, you might have to have a large dead zone. If you don't have that much drift, then leave it on small, should be fine. Having no dead zone can give you the most accurate aim that you could have. I don't play on an inverted look because it's weird. I keep my vibration off from my controller, mostly because I don't like the way it feels every time I hit a shot and the controller vibrates. It feels very awkward, and I'm just not used to it because I've been playing for a long time without any kind of vibration on the controller. So now we're going to get into the actual advanced look controls. So like I said about dead zone, we take kind of a risk here, mostly because lowering the dead zone does give you a little bit of drift. So if I were to leave it here, my controller would drift just a slight bit amount. And every controller has drift because if your controller doesn't have drift, then you have a god controller. But there are some times my controller doesn't drift, mostly because I'll leave it in a proper angle. But if you notice, it will start to look off by itself sometimes as it's starting to move towards the left or the right. And that is natural in all controllers. It is called drift. But for the dead zone, I have it all the way down, mostly because I want to get the most precision accuracy I can get out of my aim. The outer threshold, this is the max input. I have it at 1, which is going to be the max or the minimum you can do, the most recommended, and I kind of just left it as, so I put it just 1 click to the right. And for my response curve, I kind of left it at the recommended bar it has, which is the difficult stance response curve. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 10 clicks to the right. And then for optic settings, I have mine as this. They're kind of just the same, I believe, because these ones help me a little bit more. I don't really like changing the iron sights in the 1 times, mostly because it affects me a lot. But if you have any troubles with particular sights just being really bad whenever you're just ADSing, I would definitely recommend changing these settings, most solely like you have a comfortable speed, because Apex Legends is one of those games where every single optic, the further it gets, the slower it gets for some reason. I don't know why Apex decided to put that in their game, but they just did. So we're just going to stick with that. Our yaw speed is going to be, I'm not too familiar how many clicks, tons of clicks. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. So yeah, about that many clicks to the right. And then this is my pitch speed as well. This is how fast you're gonna look up and down. I'm not the kind of person that mostly is always looking like up and down compared to how much I turn left and right or horizontally. So I have my yaw speed really fast, so I'm able to snap onto targets faster. And but this one, this is to mostly, I have it about halfway, just so I'm not really slow looking down and up, but it's also so I'm able to it's also so I'm able to properly just snap onto a target more easier without swinging all the way up or swinging all the way down. So this is a turning extra yaw. This is just like when your stick input is pretty strong. This is how much faster you're gonna turn left or right. So it's mostly like just so you can snap onto people faster, because knowing a controller, you're not able to snap onto someone as fast as something like a keyboard and mouse player, but being able to have the extra speed, which is something I like to have, just so I'm able to get to someone faster and melt them faster. My ADS yaw speed, this is when you're aiming down sights. That's what ADS stands for. I have it about a bit cranked up, just so I used to have it down a lot, like right here, but I recently cranked it up a bit. Probably cranking up some right there. Mostly because the only weapon that I would really suffocate with this would be the wingman, because it was really tough to use on a really low ADS, and I like using the wingman with like flick shots or just like straight accuracy shots. So just kind of like using it as like a slow little laser was really tough for me, so that's why I upped my ADS yaw speed, just so I can use my wingman more efficiently and other guns such as like sniper rifles, things like that. So the ADS pitch speed, basically like the same thing as the other pitch speed up there. I do it about like halfway as my yaw speed, just so it can even out with each other. And then all of these ones, I have these all turned down, mostly because they don't really benefit me that much as they do on the turning of extra yaw. So I have all of them down, but if you want to adjust these to your own liking, you definitely can. It's whatever really fits your own kind of playstyle and how you fight people. So this is the target compensation. I believe this is aim assist. Yeah, this is, if you want to turn aim assist off, you definitely can. If you want to get the best precision accuracy out of your aim, I would definitely recommend turning it off. But we're on controller, we're not as strong as a mouse and keyboard players, so having the aim assist available to us is definitely worth it. So yeah, those are my settings. Like I said, I use ALC settings compared to some other people that just use your regular default settings. If you want to try ALC settings, I definitely recommend trying it for the first time. It is a lot of fun and it's definitely worth it, mostly because it's something different and you can tune the aiming to your own liking. Yeah, like right now I'm super not warmed up because I kind of just like hopped on in the video. But like I said, use it to your own liking. But we're also going to get into some of my gameplay settings, mostly because this also helps me a lot. But I would say if you're not on PC, if you're a console player, skip over this part of the video, because most of this part of the video definitely goes to more of the PC side of the graphics, because we're going to be talking about our graphics settings. And mostly console players can't control that. The only thing that you can get out of this is putting your field of view to maximum, which is what I do. That's the only thing that a console player can get out of this. So if you're a console, please skip to the time mark displayed in the video, just so you can get skipped to the straight of the other part of the video. But for all the PC homies that are here, this is what settings I have for all my PC stuff. So I have VSync off because VSync is trash. It never helps you. It's really good. It's not really good. The FPS target, you never want to have your FPS set to a certain standard, so it only tries to cap at that limit. So I put mine at 0, so my FPS is unlimited, so I can do whatever it likes. I have my anti-aliasing on TSAA. I put my texture streaming budget to none. What this does is that it gives you more of like the textures. So for instance, like in Bangalore's hands, you can see most of the textures in like her hands and stuff. I can see more textures in this gun. You know, I hope you get the idea of what I'm talking about. Unless you're like a real kind of freak about that kind of things, it's not really useful. So turning it down does give you more like frames. It does make the game a little bit uglier, but it's so worth it because you get more of an advantage having more frames against certain players who don't have enough frames. For for texture filling, I have mine in bilinear. I just set it to the lowest, and I heard that this is also a really good standard for the texture filtering. I'm not a really big person on like the graphics settings, but I like to have mine set specifically low just so I get the most maximum amount of frames, since my card is not really too high. But everything else is low. This is disabled. Sun shadows disabled. Sun details low. Spot details disabled. Lighting disabled. Shadows disabled. Model detail. Effect details. So the only one I have regular, which is up, where I can keep high too, but I keep it on low, would be impact marks. If you have no impact mark on, then you won't know that your shots are landing. So besides like the stacking numbers, but sometimes you can get no regs, and those things can happen. Ragdolls, I keep it low because it's not really important, but mostly all these settings I keep it on low standard just so I'm able to get the maximum amount out of my frames. A lot of pro players do this, and a lot of like pro content players also do this. Like I said, just so we can get more of the advantage with the graphics card. Alright guys, well that's about it for the video for my content or my Apex settings for my controller. Like I said, if this is your first time using ALC settings, let me know. See if they worked out for you. See if it changed anything. You can also tell me if you recommend me to try anything. Feel free to give me a chance and let me know. I would not mind checking out some of y'all's guys' recommendations. I love recommendations. You know, they're super helpful. So that would be great for anyone trying to let me know. You guys have a great rest of y'all's day. Stay safe out there. Be kind to others. And peace. Oh my goodness, dude. Oh, behind us? What the hell?
The rock.
My shields are recharged. Round 2, beginning ring countdown.
Oh, I'm hacking. Confirms.
Octane going up on the right.
Knocked.
Octane.
He's almost cracked.
He's still one. Knocked.
Caustic.
Knocked another one.
Nice.
Cause's
Last one.
Oh my gosh, get the. Oh, you win these. Last guy.
Oh my god, you're cracked. You're fucking cracked, dude.
Another team.
Wait, what?
Freaking.
Oh!
Nothing! He's one! He's touched! He's healing! Let's go!